Hi everybody, Gail here from Sober Bliss. Happy September. So lovely to be here with you again with another podcast. I know it's been a while since I recorded a podcast. I think the last one I did was with my husband when we did our 4 years of alcohol freedom discussion episode. So if you haven't listened to that, then go and listen to that. It's full of lots of really great stuff, if I do say so myself. So it's been a little while. Happy September. I can't believe that the summer has been and gone, but finally it has. It's been really hot here, and I'm wearing long sleeves today and long pants, so that feels really nice. But other than that, what have I been up to since we last spoke? Well, I've been in a couple of podcasts myself. Hopefully they will be aired in October. So this is where I'm a guest on other people's podcasts, talking about my journey and my drinking, how I stopped drinking, and a bit more about my story. So I'll be sharing the links with for those when they're ready. And what else? Yeah, Nico's gone back to school, finally. We've had a couple of birthdays, Nico's birthday and then my husband's birthday. And what else? Oh yeah, also in the October edition of Health and Wellbeing magazine in the UK, there's a couple of features that I've been involved in. Not features, maybe short case studies, I suppose, about what I've been going through lately in terms of food and cooking and hiking and walking. So if you're in the UK and you fancy reading a little bit more about that side of what I've been going through, then do pick up the magazine. I've not seen it. It's in the print edition, not the online. I don't think you can read it online. So yeah, if you pick it up and you have a read, let me know what it's like, because I've not seen it. What else? As I said, it's finally cooling down here. Yesterday was the autumn equinox, which means that it's officially sweater weather. So we can light candles and wear socks and things like that. Legally now, I suppose, even though it's still a bit hot. During the day anyway for that. It's lovely and cool in the mornings, but during the day it's still like 27, 28 degrees, which is fine. I shouldn't really complain because it will soon be cold and wet and damp and dark all the time. What else? Oh yeah, because it's been cooler in the evenings and in the mornings, that we finally put the duvet back on the bed, which is always a big thing in my house. It means that going to bed is a lot more snuggly and cozy. It also means getting up in the morning is a bit of a struggle. But I do have a really good morning routine going on at the moment. So actually, I enjoy getting up in the morning right now, even though it is super cozy in bed. I think it's the whole September, October, autumn vibe. So what do? I've put my fairy lights on, light a candle, light some incense, and I do a little meditation and some journaling. I have the room to myself. My husband is banished. He's not allowed in until I'm finished. And of course, Nico is a teenager now, so he doesn't get up until 7 o'clock. So I have at least an hour and a half to myself, which is really nice. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. How to feel better when things are feeling hard, when sobriety feels hard. Because even though it is what I consider to be the most magical part of the year, and obviously September's got that back to school vibe, everything's shiny and new and feels positive and there's hope in the air, it can still feel difficult And obviously, whatever's going on in your life personally, it can be difficult anytime. So while I am recording this in September, this podcast is going to be relevant whenever you need it. And I've also written a blog post about it. That's another thing I wanted to share. This is the first time I've done blog, podcast kind of combined. So if you're thinking, oh, it's just the same as the blog, obviously in the podcast there's a lot more waffle. Everything that I've just said is not in the blog. But the tips that I'm going to share with you are in the blog, not word for word, because I can't do that. But hopefully you get the same amount of value and inspiration from the blog and this podcast. So yeah, there are times when sobriety can feel hard. There are times when being sober feels hard. And it can be for any reason. Often it can just be the fact that, I don't know, we're not in a great mood. And when I say, being sober feels hard, I can mean you're having a bad day and you need something to lift you up. You might be going through a really tricky patch. At home, things might be going on that you're finding it difficult to deal with. And sometimes we blame the fact that everything's going wrong on the fact that we're not drinking. But that is not the case. Drinking doesn't help. A glass of wine won't help. But it's easy to kind of go down that road when we're not at our best. So this podcast, this blog, and also the fabulous new free resource I've created for you will hopefully help you with your feeling stuck. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to lift you up. It's hopefully going to renew your joy and inspiration in living alcohol free. Because actually when things are difficult, when it's challenging, and when we're struggling a bit and we keep going and we push through, these are times of, massive growth. These are times when we grow stronger and we learn and we develop. And I know it doesn't feel like it at the time. It's only when you come out the other side that you realize just how amazing you are. So that's hopefully what I'm going to share with you today. How to feel better, how to lift yourself up, how to get back your inspiration when being sober feels hard. Because, most of us start our sobriety journey full of hope and motivation and determination that everything is going to be different this time. It's going to be amazing, and it is amazing. But it can also be difficult because that's life. And I'm not necessarily just talking about, big things in our lives that can make sobriety feel hard, but it could just be you hit the wall, and I'll put the link to the blog that I wrote about hitting the wall in sobriety to help you with that. So yeah, you could just be on a plateau when everything feels a bit, or you could be a bit bored with the whole thing. Or maybe even sobriety feels hard because you want to celebrate, you want to have fun, and you think, oh, it's not the same without alcohol. And the thought of heading into the party season, Christmas, New Year, without drinking, that's what feels hard. So hopefully what I'm going to share with you today will help to keep you on track and keep the inspiration and the motivation flowing. Because when it does get hard, we need to dig deep, we need to turn to our tools and really lean into the things that we know work for us when we're feeling this way. And also it's a good opportunity to try something new. Maybe you are bored with the whole sober thing and you want a bit more excitement and joy. So if that's you, then think about, what can I do Because you know a glass of wine's not going to do anything different or new or exciting. It's just going to undo everything that you've done so far. So think about what you could do that's new and exciting and different, that will help you push through this boredom or challenging time that you're facing. So basically there are going to be 10 things that I've come up with that will hopefully help you through this difficult time. And also, as I said at the beginning, I've created a really wonderful new free resource for you, which goes into this in a little bit more detail. There's also a lovely checklist at the end to help you keep track of your progress, because as I'm going to share with you, if you want to make the changes stick, if you really want to feel better and get out of the rut that you might be finding yourself in, then it's worth committing to these new habits, perhaps a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things for a certain amount of time. And obviously, I'm recording this end of September, so we've got Sober October coming up. So why not take a step into October with the guide, with the help and support that I'm sharing with you today, and commit for the whole month and just see how amazing you feel when you come out the end of the month. As I said, there's a free workbook which will help you, and also a little checklist so you can, tick things off as you do them every single day, and also check on your progress. And one thing I would say is that if you maybe write a little note to yourself how you're feeling before you start, and then at the end of the 30 days or 31 days, write a little note and compare, and just see how much this month of commitment to yourself changes things for the better. Okay, so let me just help you with some things that are going to help you right now, things that you can do, as I said, every day, hopefully for the next month, to get you out of that rut, to get you feeling inspired and motivated again. And the first thing that I will say is that while you might want to immediately fix things and change things and, fight against what's happening around you, the easiest thing, the most gentle thing, the kindest thing you can do is to just take a step back and accept what's going on. So if you're having a really bad day or facing a challenging time in your life, know that actually, while it's awful at the moment, it is what it is. And accepting it is the best thing you can do right now. Because if you complain about it and get angry about it and question it and fight against it, you just work yourself up into a state, and we don't want that, because when you get more anxious and angry and more stressed, then it's not as easy to take a step back and to see clearly what it is that you actually need that's going to help you. So the first thing is, as difficult as it might be, just surrender for a bit, let go, sit with your feelings, and a nice cup of tea, obviously. And, accept that things are awful right now, but they will get better. And I'm going to give you some tips now to help you feel better. So when things are difficult and challenging and we're not feeling great, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to give ourselves time and space. And actually, this is something that I talk to my clients about all the time, and it is key in having a sober life that you enjoy. I've just talked about my own morning routine. It's so important to give yourself time and space every single day to be quiet, to reflect, to think, to do nothing, to sit and look out the window, because quiet time, alone time is deeply nourishing and restorative. So I would love for you to make it a priority, and I promise that if you make time and space for yourself every single day, hopefully for the whole month, even if it's just 10 minutes, you're going to feel so much better after the first day, after the first week, and honestly by the end of the month. If you dedicate 10, 20 minutes just for you every single day, your life will be day and night different. Honestly, it will. So if you don't do anything else from the list, but I really hope you do, make sure you do this one. Also, moving your body, doing some exercise is such a great stress reliever, cravings buster as well. So if you're suffering from cravings, then doing some exercise is a great way to get through that. And also, if you make the effort and the time to move your body every single day, it will leave you feeling inspired and motivated, and it will reconnect you with yourself. Doesn't matter what kind of exercise that you do, so choose something that you like, because we don't want it to be a chore. Could just be dancing around the kitchen, going for a walk, whatever it is. Then make the time and the effort to move your body in some shape or form every single day. Which leads me on to my favorite thing to do when I'm feeling down, and that is spending time in nature, with nature, being in nature. Because, well, I've talked about it before, nature will soothe, nourish and heal you like nothing else can. And actually, if you can have your quiet time in nature and maybe even do your exercise in nature, then, that's even better. Being outside in nature helped me so much when I first quit drinking. You've heard me talking before that I just used to walk the dogs all the time. More recently, when my husband came back from hospital after his stroke, we spent so much time walking in nature. I would go off by myself as well for a bit of headspace and calm and relaxation. So it really does make everything feel better. So if you can, every day, I would recommend that you try and get outside. As I said, even if it is just for 10 minutes, but make the effort. You will feel so much better when you come back from your nature walk along the beach or through the woods or just sitting in the garden with a cup of tea. Honestly, that will do the power of good as well. And I also want you to connect with people who will support you through this difficult time that you might be facing, or even just through, the boredom, or somebody to share the feelings with, because unless you've been in our situation or unless you are in our situation, it can be difficult to understand exactly, and it is so helpful when you can talk to people who do know what you're talking about, who do understand what you're going through. So if you've got a support network, then really lean on your support network as much as possible. I've not really talked about it in the podcast much, but I do have a fabulous support network of my own. It's called the Blissfully Sober Support Space. We're a really lovely group of amazing women And that's the thing we are doing, is supporting each other. And in fact, one of our lovely members said the other day, thank you for building this support network. I love it. And that says it all, really. That's what you need. You need support. So whatever your support looks like, it could be your best friend, your husband, I don't know if you've got a coach or a therapist, or your knitting group or your running group, whoever they are, use them, lean on them, ask them questions, share. Never ever feel that you have to struggle alone. And this is something I say a lot, but it's also something that I hear a lot from people too. Even though there's so much support out there, some of you still feel like you're not worthy, you're not deserving. I got an email from somebody the other day who said, I'm part of the generation that feels we just have to get on with it. So I'm struggling alone. And this is really sad. It really breaks my heart at times because of the conditioning that we've been brought up with, because of society. Maybe it's a Brit thing, you know, the stiff upper lip, let's just get on with it. It shouldn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. So if you are struggling, if you haven't got support, if you're afraid to ask for help, then please let that go and do reach out. Life with help and support and friendship and encouragement is so much better, and sobriety is so much easier when you've got people around you to help you and lift you up. So connect, that's a big thing that I want you to think about. That is, you know, very, very important as you go through this month. Hopefully this is what you're going to do to help lift you up and get you out of the challenge that you're currently facing. Equally as important as connection and nature and, you know, quiet time is allowing yourself a bit of fun, a bit of time to daydream and really lean into why you want to be sober in the first place. So you might be at the start of your journey. You might just be thinking about it when even the thought of being sober feels hard. You might be already a little way into your journey, and as I said in the beginning, you've hit a bit of a wall or everything just feels a bit rubbish. Now is a perfect time to tap into your dreams and remind yourself of why you are doing this in the first place. And I don't mean remembering the hangovers and how awful you felt when you had to drag yourself out of bed in the morning. I mean, you know, the other end of the scale. What does being sober mean to you? Look at your future self in, I don't know, maybe a year down the line or 2 years, sober and healthy and happy. What does that feel like? What are you doing? How does it feel to be living your dream of living alcohol free? Because tapping into the emotion of that's the thing that's going to carry you through and keep you going when you're faced with, you know, a challenging moment or difficult time, or as I said, when the whole thing just feels hard. And I've written and talked quite a lot on creating a vision for sobriety, and I'll leave the link to the blog post and the podcast in the show notes. But honestly, your dream, your why, how you want to feel is the thing that will get you back on the path, feeling good again. Because that's what we want. We want to be sober and we want to feel good about it. There's no point in being sober and miserable. Which brings me on to the next thing that I want you to think about, and that is doing what you love, doing something that you love. Because it's important, as I said, you don't want to be sober and miserable. You want to be sober and happy. You want to create a life that you don't need to run away from or numb out from. And the only way you can do that is to make the effort and spend time doing things that you love. Because we don't want sobriety to feel like a chore or a struggle or miserable. We want it to feel good, because it is. And you have the power to do that. So you can either, sit around and complain and grumble that you can't drink anymore. It's not the same going out with your friends. I wish I could drink. It's not fair. All of that. You could do that. Or you could say, okay, this is my choice. This is my decision. And I'm going to make my sober life the best life it can possibly be. And a really simple way to do that is to focus your energy, your time, your attention, and doing things that you love. Because what's better? Sitting around complaining and grumbling, or doing the thing that you love. So in time, the more practice you get, the more time you spend doing things that you love, that's what sober is going to feel like. It's not going to feel hard anymore. It's going to feel lovely. And if you don't know what it is that you love, because often we don't, if we spent so long drinking and masking and hiding, we've forgotten what brings us joy. Your first job, I suppose, is to write a big list of all the things that you used to love doing. Maybe you've forgotten what they feel like. And maybe things that you would like to do, things you've always fancied trying or experimenting with. And then just go down the list, and you will be able to build a sober life that you love. And that brings me on to the next step, which is to take action. I've talked about this before. I spent so long before I actually stopped drinking, reading all the books, downloading all the free stuff. I joined all the free Facebook groups, but I didn't take action. I didn't do anything. And this went on for 5 years, really. So the only way that you're going to stop drinking is to stop drinking. And you might be thinking, what are you talking about? It's not that easy. That bit is the easy first step. Make a commitment that you're going to take that step. Make a commitment that you're going to try. And honestly, everything will fall into place. You're never going to know how to get through cravings unless you get through them. You're never going to know what it's like to go out and socialize sober unless you do it. I remember reading those stories of people, and they were on, week 2, and they just had their first trip to a restaurant, or they'd gone out with their kids, and it was the first time they'd done it. And they talked about, the cravings, the thoughts, the struggle, but then they also talked about how they got through it, what they did, what helped. And I was just thinking, oh, wow, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. But there I was at home, just sitting reading about it. I wasn't actually taking any action and doing it for myself. So that's what I want you to do. If you're already alcohol free, and as I said, you're in this rut, if you like, you're struggling, the only way you're going to get out of it is to take the action. So pick one thing, do one thing today, and again tomorrow. It's a accumulation of these little tiny baby steps in the right direction every single day that bring about big change. And as I said in the beginning, I promise you, if you do the things in the fabulous download that I'm going to share with you, if you make the effort and tick off everything that you do every single day for the next month, you will be amazed at how amazing you are. You'll be amazed and so proud of what it looks like, how it feels when you take tiny action every single day. And along with that is gratitude. I know you know this, but do you actually do it? Did you know that gratitude is the most uplifting emotion there is, and it can change things in an instant? So if you're sitting here thinking, oh, this sounds really difficult. Oh God, Gail, what are you doing? You're asking me to do such a lot over the next month. Maybe you're feeling a bit hard done by, or a bit upset, or a bit angry even. I want you to stop, and I want you to focus on 2 things that you're grateful for right now. And notice how your thoughts, feelings and emotions change. It's impossible to think 2 thoughts at once anyway, but focus on what you're grateful for really does make you feel better in an instant. You know, as you probably heard the Oprah Winfrey quote when she says, be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. And if you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never ever have enough. And that in itself should be inspiration and motivation to think about turning to gratitude when things are difficult. I know it's not easy, and it is a practice, and it does take some effort. But if you start thinking every day for all the lovely things in your life, then you're going to start to feel better. You know this. You know that if you focus on the bad and the negative, then you're going to feel bad and negative. And you know that if you focus on the good and the happy and being grateful, then you're going to feel good and happy. It works. So practice gratitude. Okay? And finally, just carrying on from what I said before, you might be thinking, Gail, you give me so much to do today, and this is the thing, you don't have to do it all today. But finally, I want you to be gentle with yourself, because yes, it does seem like there's a lot to do. And even though I'm giving you all of these tips and helpful advice, it can feel overwhelming. And while it is super important to immerse yourself in this new way of life, in this new chapter of your life, in, building healthy habits, it can feel like a lot. So I want you to really look after yourself as well. Take it slowly. The things that are on the list, the things that I've talked about, the things that are in the free download and the checklist, you don't have to do every single one of them for an hour a day, just 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, just focusing on it, keeping it in your thoughts. That's all you need to do to help to keep you on track and feeling good. So really look after yourself. Listen to your body and tune in to your needs. And you might find that by looking at the checklist and taking a moment, you might think, well, yeah, actually, I could do with going for a walk right now, or a dance around the kitchen, or a run around the block is exactly what I need right now. So the 2 work together, because you never need wine. Wine is not being kind. Wine is not being gentle. What is being kind and gentle is pausing, stopping and listening. So go beneath the initial feeling, go beneath the craving, go beneath the thought, and ask yourself, what do I need right now? And do that. Be kind and be gentle. And that's it, really. It's been really lovely to talk to you again. and I hope I haven't bored you, and I hope you're still here, because I'm going to share with you now about the freebie that I created, the checklist and workbook. There's a link to it in the show notes. There's also a link to it in this blog. So it's perfect for Sober October. It's perfect for right now if sober is feeling difficult for you or stressful, or you want to start your journey, you want to take that step, you want to take that action, but you're not sure how to do it. Then go ahead, download the workbook, the guide, the checklist. And as always, if you need support, then come and join us in the Blissfully Sober support space. We are going to be working through the checklist together, working through the things in the booklet together this month. We also meet regularly, so if you want to come and talk to other sober people, if you want to listen to other women and their stories, if you want to hear about how they spend time in nature, what their dreams are, what's working for them if they're struggling, what they like to do on a Saturday afternoon, all of those things, then come and join us in the Blissfully Sober membership space. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. You also get a free meditation. You get the lunar retreat for free when you join also. And as I said, we meet regularly in the month to get together and to talk and to help each other and support each other. And it's honestly a really lovely space for you to come and get the support and help that you need. And it's that connection that I was talking about in the podcast. So that's it from me for today. I promise I'm not going to leave it as long next time, so you won't have to wait another month before I talk to you again. So do let me know how you are. Let me know if I can help you with anything in particular. Let me know what's on your mind. And I will speak to you again very soon. Bye for now.